All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. This is gonna really bum out fans who wanted to see a Van Halen reunion with Michael Anthony. Apparently, Wolfgang was ready to retire from Van Halen and clear the way for Michael Anthony to return. This comes from blabbermouth.net, and this is an article from apparently Rolling Stone. Wolfgang discussed his recent revelation that his father, Eddie, had contemplated a kitchen sink tour that would have included Michael Anthony as well as turns from Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth, and even maybe Gary Cherone. Asks if he thinks he could have gotten Roth to take part in such a tour. Wolfgang said, "I would have loved to see it happen. Unfortunately, we'll never know the answer to that. I think at a certain point, you would have to just get everybody in a room and be like, come on, how awesome would this be?" I mean, it just shows you that he's a fan. He's not only, a member of the band, but he's a fan of everybody who's been in the band. Wolfgang also confirmed that he was pretty much ready to retire from Van Halen and leave the door open for Anthony to reclaim his rightful place in the band. Other than maybe jumping on stage for a song or two because Dad would be like, you got to be on stage at least a couple of times, Wolfgang explained, he kept trying to pull me back in. Not that I didn't want to be there. Playing with my father was the best thing I ever did. It was my favorite thing to do. Asked if he had ever had a personal conversation with Anthony about Michael returning to Van Halen, Wolfgang said, "Never had too much of an opportunity. That's kind of what that whole tour was supposed to be. And then it never panned out. I was really looking forward to speaking with him, and that hasn't happened yet." Well, that door is wide open. I think it would be really helpful to both of you guys to maybe just sit down and have a little chat about everything. So he says, "I'm looking forward to the opportunity that I have in the future to speak with him." Wolfgang added that he doesn't think Michael has had any ill feelings toward him regarding his involvement with Van Halen. "I've seen things he's said," Wolfgang said. "He's always been an amazing guy." In early 2019, a rumor surfaced that the classic Van Halen lineup would reunite that summer. The rumors originally started with Roth, who hinted to Vulture that Van Halen would be playing stadiums with Anthony back in the lineup. Van Halen and Anthony had not been on good terms for more than a decade, with Anthony not invited to join the reunion tour with Roth that began in 2007. The subsequent tours and studio album, A Different Kind of Truth, featured Wolfgang on bass. So, yeah, I mean, everything, water under the bridge. That's what this is all about. It's water under the bridge. These guys, they realize that all of that fussing, fighting, and feuding. And look, if you recall, there was that video that Sammy Hagar did defending Mikey, I think it was called. And it went viral because he was really mad because at the time, supposedly Eddie was not saying kind things about Anthony's bass playing. Now, it'd be smart, I think, to take that video down. There's no need for it. I mean, I guess you could leave it up because at that moment, things weren't going well, and Sammy was defending Michael Anthony, and Michael Anthony really needs no defending. He is a great bass player. His vocal skills were really important to Van Halen, but we learn just based on what Wolfie did on his first single that he can sing, and he did do a great job filling in as far as getting those high vocal parts right, because apparently he can sing that way. So his dad was probably like, look, we'll keep it all in the family here. We can train you how to play bass, which they did, and he became a proficient bass player. And you've got the vocal chops to do this, so why not? you know, a lot of people, though, were disappointed that Michael Anthony wasn't invited back in with that lineup, because one more album with that lineup would have been, with Michael Anthony, would have been really cool. But as Wolfie says here, we're not going to get to see any of that. So it's an interesting and sad thing to just recollect that all the plans that were in the works probably would have been shut down, though, by the case demic, you know, because, you know, according to Gene Simmons, this doesn't really matter because nobody's going to ever stop doing what they're doing currently, which means the live concert industry is kind of over. And I'll do a video about it eventually, but I'm going to soon. And nobody seems to want to fix that. So I'm done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget Patreon, if you can help out the channel. We're going into a leaner season because political ads have disappeared, which thank God they've disappeared. I'm not unhappy about that, but of course it affects the revenue. So if you can help out with the channel, it would be really appreciated. All right, see you soon.